Hello everybody and welcome to the Mechanical Channel. Hope you're enjoying the content. If you are, please like and subscribe and hit the little bell icon so you never miss another video. And we're back with another organ chat today, and it's one I'm really looking forward to. Welcome to Folly Farm, home of the Gaumont Manchester Wurlitzer. The Gaumont Manchester opened on the 21st of October 1935 on the site of the old Manchester Hippodrome. It featured a double-height entrance foyer lined with mirrors and a grand staircase leading to the circle. In the basement was a buffet restaurant and 60-foot-long licensed spa. The auditorium, designed by the famous designer Theodore Komrzajewski, could seat 2,300 people and was lavishly decorated. It featured a coffered ceiling and ornate grillwork down each side, not to mention a 50-foot wide proscenium with 23-foot deep stage. The Wurlitzer organ of 4 manuals 14 ranks was opened by organist Stanley Tudor. His original signature tune, Singing in the Rain, was changed to Powder Your Face with Sunshine after an alleged ticking off by the city's mayor. The organ was removed prior to the cinema's closure and placed into storage, where sadly it sustained heavy fire damage to its console and chests, and for most organs that would have been the end of that. However, the organ was saved when it found a new home at Granada TV Studios, where it was featured as part of the tour, playing for visitors. A new console was built to the original Wurlitzer specifications, and new chests were sourced from the United States. In 2009, after another brief period in storage, the Wurlitzer found its way to its new home at Folly Farm Adventure Park and Zoo, where it is heard regularly by park visitors. Joining me now is Ben Snowden, the chap responsible for looking after this instrument. Ben, answer me this: how does a Wurlitzer of this fame from Manchester end up in a farm in Wales? How does that happen?
By accident. I knew the owners of Folly Farm, and they asked me to come and have a look at the fairground organ on the gallopers over there. And I said it wasn't really my thing, and I said it's cinema organs what I was really interested in. And Glyn said he would really like a cinema organ, but they didn't really want to have an organist to play it all the time. And I explained, with the wonders of these modern computer systems, it would be possible for it to play itself. And his ears perked up, and that was, I think, in the May. Then we approached the Lancastrian Theatre Organ Society in the summer, and by the autumn we'd purchased it. We started installing it at the end of February, and we opened in the May of the following year.
So because it didn't just come from Manchester straight to here, did it? Because it was Gaumont Manchester first of all, then...
You see, it was built for the Gaumont Manchester, and then it was installed by the Lancastrian Theatre Organ Trust in Granada Studios as part of their the movie motion star sort of ride they had. And when that closed, when Coronation Street went 7 days a week filming, it moved into store. Paul Kerner was the finance behind all of this, and Paul very kindly bought the organ and has left it on long-term loan to Folly Farm, and since his demise the charity that he established now owns it, so it's part of the charitable trust that I'm one of the trustees of.
Yeah. It's wonderful to find an instrument like this in a public venue as well, where ordinary people, shall we say, can come and see it, and it goes down rather well, doesn't it?
It is, well, as you've seen this afternoon, even with the park not at its fullest, the people stop and listen to it. They're filming it on their phones, so it shows there's obviously still quite an interest in the machine. It's a bit of a curio. I mean, people don't sit and listen to it for hours on end, but it plays every day that the park is open, which is 7 days a week from February half term till the end of October half term. It plays for 2 hours a day, and it certainly keeps the thing playing, and people do enjoy it. So
for the layman's, myself included, how does a Wurlitzer organ play itself, assuming there's some relay jiggery going on there?
So there is. So this computer was originally built, so the organ originally had relays, but they were destroyed when it was in store. So when it was in Granada Studios, they had one of the early Devtronics systems, which sort of replaced the relays, and it had floppy disks that allowed you to record an organist's performance and then for it to be played back afterwards. We have got a slightly more up-to-date version of it now, but it still uses a computer as the interface. it can't do any sort of editing. It will only play back what an organist has actually recorded, and on a daily basis you're treated to Paul Kerner playing it live, even though he's sadly no longer with us. John Mann provides a lot of the music, and Anthony Meads provided a lot of the younger stuff, so the Disney tunes and things like Harry Potter, so the more up-to-date things Anthony has added.
Which is what the audience would, well, recognise, wouldn't they? Obviously, being a family venue, it's you know, the kids would understand the
absolutely.
Music and all that.
But I mean, the Folly Farm gets a huge, very wide demographic. I say it's suitable for children of all ages, from 8 months to 88. And as I say, grandparents and great-grandparents come and they can enjoy seeing the animals and the vintage funfair. Some of them will remember it in their heyday, and others of it's a complete new thing for. So playing tunes from across the decades seems to go down well.
Yeah. And again, it's a wonderful installation in general. As you walk in the far end of the building, you know, all the rides going around, and you see this magnificent console at the far end. It really is.
And you can hear it.
And you can hear it, definitely, yeah. It's quite shouty, yeah.
It certainly makes its presence felt, and I remember when we first got it playing, a friend of mine came and she said, "Are you going to shut the fairground to listen to it?" I said, "No."
You don't need to.
And you just put your foot down, and it certainly was a showstopper.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Well, we had to go before, and you know, so did my cameraman, you know, and it's sort of sitting on the balcony where the shutters are just to the left and the right. It really does sort of part your hair, as Steve Tovey would say.
It certainly makes its presence felt. But we've tried to keep it as original as possible. It was such a famous instrument.
Yes, it was.
And I mean, sadly not all of it to survive the fire. The console is a replacement, but it was built to the original drawings from Wurlitzer. And so aesthetically it looks the same.
Well, again, going with what you just said there, I mean, one of the characteristics of this instrument was the English horn, wasn't it? On the famous Stanley Tudor recordings, and it still sounds like that, which is great.
Yes, it certainly, it's taken a few people's hairlines back a bit short too.
Yeah, myself included. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us, and I think it's about time we listen to some of the ranks. And here we are at the console of the Ex-Gaumont Manchester Wurlitzer. There's 14 ranks of pipes on this instrument, and we're going to start with the tibias. Tibia clausa, there's 2 of them, and together they sound like this. If I hold a chord here and switch between the 2, you can tell the difference. And of course, the 2 together at different pitches, you get this lovely sort of babble between the 2. We have a clarinet on the organ, which is a lovely clarinet. A canora, which is a very thin reed, as not something you'd use on its own, but it would use with combination of other things is very useful indeed. The orchestral oboe and a saxophone. We have a range of strings as well, which is always nice. A flute. A vox humana. And one of the most famous stops on this organ was the English horn, which Stanley Tudor used to use a lot, and it really does take your head off in this room. You imagine that really ripping through the theatre. It must have been magnificent. There's also other things on the organ, like there's a piano just to my right, which sounds something like this. There's also a chrysoglot. And of course you've got your snare drums, tambourine and castanets, Chinese block, tom-tom, and sand block. Got some cathedral chimes as well, which are unenclosed just over there, which is rather loud. We have some sleigh bells, which is again a novelty sound, sort of a Christmas sort of thing. We've got a xylophone, which is available on tap and re-hit. This is it on tap and on re-hit. And same with the glockenspiel, and then bells. And of course we have various sound effects as well, like a train horn, which sounds like it's about to come through the wall, car horn, all that sort of thing. And it really does fill this whole room with an enormous amount of sound. And I thought, to demonstrate the organ, we'd play a signature tune of one of its most famous players, Mr. Stanley Tudor. This is Powder Your Face with Sunshine. Well, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed the content today, and we'll be back with more organ chats in the next episode. So take care, bye-bye for now.